Hello, I'm Sonia West with Sanjha TV. This is Khas Mulakaat. Welcome to today's program where we're going to talk to the CG of India, Vancouver. It is Consulate General Masakui Rungsung. We will talk to him today about all of the things he does here in Vancouver for the Indian people, as well as not just Vancouver, but British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and the Yukon. So he's covering a lot of territory, and he's going to tell us exactly what his role is and how he helps the Indian people, the Indian diaspora. So let's meet him now. Consulate General of India, Vancouver, Masakui Rungsung, it's so good to see you. We saw you last night at the Republic Day celebration, 76th Republic Day of India, and it was such a pleasure to hear you speak there. Welcome to our conversation today. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It's so nice to be here again.
Yes, of course. So last night in your speech, it was very nice to see you talked about all of the forefathers of India. You mentioned Mahatma Gandhi. You talked about Dr. Ambedkar. And when you talked about them and you kind of paid homage to them, that was quite a wonderful moment, talking about, all of the things that India has gone through to be where we are today. How did you feel in that moment?
It's a moment of pride, actually, like the last 75 years of our independence.
Yeah.
Our independence is more than that, but after our constitution came into force on 26th of January 1950,
Right.
It's been now 75 years. And as our president in India delivered her speech, it makes every one of us proud of the achievements that we have made in the last 75 years.
Right.
Starting very poor, we've been impoverished by the colonial rule of 300 years.
Yes.
And we started all over again 75 years ago.
Yes.
But it just got us started.
Yeah.
And then we didn't look back. And that's the beauty of what we have come here today.
Right.
And the constitution that we are talking about,
Yes.
it gave us the framework for us to be here today.
That's right.
And our leadership, one after another, have not left that path of achieving the goal set by our framers of our constitution. And we have been consistently working. All leadership of our country have been doing that. So we are where we are today because of the efforts made by the leadership and also by the people of India.
That's right. Last night you joked that you're not a numbers guy, but you shared a lot of numbers and very inspiring numbers about how India is going to become one of the very richest countries, doing very well with their economy and just being kind of at the top of the numbers rather than at the bottom, because it used to be that India was seen as a third world country all the time. But the numbers that you told us last night, it looks like they're on their way to getting in that top 3 or 4.
Yeah, that's the vision of our Prime Minister, current Prime Minister, who has said that the developed country by 2047. That's when we complete 100 years of our independence.
Right.
And that's a very ambitious target that we have set, and we're working towards that. Talking of the numbers, a huge country of 1.4 billion people.
Amazing.
With a huge population which are aspirational.
Yeah.
Our rural population are coming forward and participate in development of the country. And it's quite natural for us to set this very ambitious target of achieving that kind of development. We might not be necessarily a very rich nation, because if you take even if we take the GDP,
Yeah.
which is set to be the 30 trillion by 2047, which is 100 years of our independence.
Right.
But our per capita income might not be as much as of those developed countries.
Right.
But that would be a feat of achievement for us to be at that level.
Absolutely.
You should keep in mind, or we should keep in mind, that however developed we are, or the GDP that we have is distributed among 1.4 billion people.
Right.
And that's where our per capita income that way comes down. But we'll be there very soon, as our the father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi, had said that every tear from every eye is wiped away.
Wow.
Our struggle will be there. So it's a long way to go, but we are going there surely.
How important is it for Canadians to be celebrating their Indian heritage, the diaspora that we talk about? How important is that? And what did you feel last night, seeing all of the people there celebrating their Indian heritage?
I think you'll say better than me, because you are the Indian heritage here in Canada.
That's true.
But during my interaction, not just the Canadian Indians here, but also the Indians settled abroad, because I have been to several places where Indian community is huge, present.
Yeah.
And the feeling of pride that they take in seeing India develop is enormous, as I feel that you are as patriotic as any Indian back home are.
Absolutely.
And that's very heartening to know that.
Yeah.
And how much pride our Indian population or Indian diaspora take in how India is coming up of late in the last few decades is something that we share, that joy that we share with them, and they are so much a part of that.
Yes.
It's also because they also hugely contribute in seeing India develop, because many of our Indian diaspora who have prospered and who have made fortune outside have come back to invest, or making a bridge to between the country of their adoption and the country of their origin.
Right.
So that the connecting and building relationship between these two countries, including in Canada, is something that our diaspora have contributed to, and rightfully they take so much pride in that, and so happy to see this development.
Absolutely. It was really nice to see how we had both national anthems. We had the Canadian national anthem, and then of course India's national anthem as well. And we had veterans in the attendance last night, and everybody was singing both anthems with such pride. It was a beautiful thing to see.
Yes, I think that's very heartening again, the presence of our veterans there. It's they have, many of them have retired a long time ago.
Yes.
And they have come here for some reason. Maybe their children are settled here, so I think they have come here to settle down in Canada.
Yeah.
But you remember, they are still drawing the pension from India.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Because that's what we did last time. In the month of November, we issued life certificate to them to ensure that they continue to draw the pension from India.
That's wonderful.
And that's what we are serving them here for, to see that they continue to draw the pensions from India. And in doing so, you'll see some of them coming with the medals.
Well, yes, we saw a few
that
last
much
night.
pride they take in defending the country when they were in active service back home in India several years ago.
Right.
And it's a matter of pride that those you can define the wrinkles on their faces, but also you can define the pride in that visages, that they have. I think that's something very emotional moment for us to see our veterans here in Canada, as much as I see them when I go to such occasions back home in India.
Yes. So you've been helping veterans get their money, because in India they would have had that pension. So you're making sure that while they're in Canada, they're still getting that. What other things as CG do you do to help Canadians that are from India? What is your role exactly? Because we see you at a lot of different events and doing great things, visiting different communities, even the rural areas or less developed cities such as Kamloops. We see you doing these things, and you're doing a fantastic job. What exactly is the role of CG? What do you do that maybe a lot of people that are watching today don't know?
Okay. Sonia, I think before I come to defining my role as a CG here, let me say the jurisdiction that comes under the CGI Vancouver here.
Okay.
The entire Western Canada, which is including British Columbia and Alberta, Saskatchewan, and also the Yukon and Northwest Territory.
Okay,
there's
wow, that's a lot.
3 provinces and 2 territories under our jurisdiction. So there's a huge jurisdiction to service, because our diaspora are present in all these provinces. And coming back to the role as a CG that I play here, anything that is outside of political relationship, which is handled by our office or our High Commission in Ottawa, is dealt with by the Consulate or Consul General of India in Vancouver, which includes, of course, taking care of the community, taking care in the sense of when they have difficulties in terms of how they settle down here. Like, for example, people who died for various reasons, and how the bodies will be repatriated back to India.
So that happens, sorry CG, that happens is when someone passes away here of Indian heritage, if you need to get the body back to India, you're the one that has to facilitate that somehow?
The local government has the role to do that, because you go to, first police report is there, then autopsy done, then you go to the funeral home, those clearances are given, but ultimately we give the certificate, if he is an Indian national, so
Right.
that he can be, his remains or the mortar remains can be taken back home.
Right.
So we give the last certificate which allows them to fly back to India.
Right.
But we coordinate with the hospitals, the police department, also with the funeral homes to ensure that the mortar remains go back on time, so that the relatives back home there's so much concern about the mortar remains of the loved ones here.
Of course. Yeah.
Cannot wait for 2 weeks, but sometimes the procedure takes as much. But fortunately here, the standard time taken for mortar remains to be moved back to India is around 2 weeks.
Okay.
And we have not had a situation which goes on to 3 weeks or 4 weeks, unfortunately. So we know exactly how much approximate time it takes for such things to happen.
Right.
So that's just one. I'm giving
That's
one
one
example.
example.
For example, there are again several other cases where the husband and wife and the family issues coming up there.
Yeah.
We can't do anything much, but we intervene sometimes, in the personal capacity, or also because as a consulate here, we reach out to them and try to see how we can resolve the issues, though the matters are with the court or with the police cases. But we ensure our best that yes, we are with them, we know and advise them how and where they should go to have their issues resolved.
So domestic issues, even, you're just making sure that your people here in Canada are safe.
That's true. That's true. Just to ensure that we are in know of what the problems are.
Right.
And our roles are very limited though, because there are several other authorities that actually take care of these issues.
Right.
But to ensure that we know and we are there, that gives them some comfort.
You also mentioned last night in your speech your wife. She's lovely. We met her last night. You did mention her, and we all thought that was sweet. You're the type of CG that is you're a family man, you can tell, and you're very approachable. You've got a very nice disposition. What did your wife have to say after the speech? Was she happy that you mentioned her?
No. She said that you be the man who you say in the public. That's what she said.
Yes, that's true. You are exactly the same on camera, off camera, on stage, off stage.
True.
You're very authentic, very grounded. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So she was talking to me last night. I had the pleasure of speaking with her, and she was talking about her outfit she was wearing last night. I said, how do you pick your different clothes? And she said, I just decide in the time, like it's my mood, whatever I want to wear. So I know that she spoke about her outfits from Manipur, where you're from, and she was showing me the different clothing that they wear there compared to different parts of India, because India isn't just one region. It's several different regions, several different types of people in India. So last night was really nice to see all of the different people. I met a lady from Kerala last night, and of course you're from Manipur. I'm from Punjab. So everybody's from different areas. Tell me about when you were growing up and your education. Where did you go to school? Where did you start? First of all, your birth. Where did you start from?
No, just let me come to the last night's event. As you rightly say that, there are people from all over India coming, representing various regions and various states there.
Yes.
I think, we have more than 1 million in our jurisdiction. It's not possible for us to just reach out to everyone and invite them to come over.
Right.
We have around 270 to 300 people there. But we try our best to make that crowd as representative as possible, so that people, especially the consular corps and the Canadian business people and our stakeholders, and also the government of British Columbia and other provinces, dignitaries coming in, may witness and know that, yes, this is a mini India.
That's right.
That's what we try to project when we have our national days. So we try to bring in people from, the Tamil community, Malayali, for example, from Kannada, from Telangana, from other parts of Gujarat, for example, and from, of course, Punjab and other parts of India. So that's what we try to do, and that reflects mini India coming together there. Your asking other question was
about your childhood.
Yeah, I grew up in Manipur. That's extreme northeastern part of India,
Okay.
which is border to Myanmar. For your viewers, if they don't know where Manipur is, and many, of course, will not know, it's very small province of 3 million people.
Just a small province.
That's
3
a very
million.
very small province.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
That's where I grew up. I did my education in the boarding school in one of the districts there.
Right.
And for my undergrad, I went to Punjab on sponsorship. That's in Jalandhar,
In
Devi College.
Jalandhar. Oh my goodness.
In Devi College.
Okay.
So I did my graduation there and came home and worked in the school as a private assistant teacher for 2 years before I went off to do my master's degree in Delhi University. And then after a gap of years, I joined Reserve Bank of India for 2 years. I worked there.
Okay.
And was not happy with dealing with numbers.
We don't like
Because
numbers.
in bank you have to do with a lot of numbers.
That's right. Yeah.
So I have been giving my civil service examination though. So I again gave my exams and then I got into foreign service.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you were little, what were you thinking of becoming when you got older? Were you thinking one day I'll be sitting in Canada representing India?
Not very far away. Very far away. I have no clue. I could not even aspire of anything else because I come from a very humble and modest family of lower middle class.
Okay.
So that's where I was, and it's difficult for me to think of becoming anything.
Yeah.
Difficult to aspire also.
Okay.
I didn't think of even civil service getting into foreign service till I came to Delhi to study my postgrad.
Yeah.
And then when I saw many people giving the exams and taking exams, I say, why can't I also take? Let me also try.
Always try.
Yeah.
Always try.
That's
and you know, the word kismet comes to mind. Whatever's in your kismet, you're going to get.
Yeah.
And that's why you're here today.
True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. As a consul general, you know, as I was saying that we did everything apart from the political relationship between the two countries that was dealt with by the High Commission of India in Ottawa.
Okay.
In consulate here, we deal with every other thing, including the trade and investment and the business relation between the two countries.
Right.
You know that more than 600 companies are present in Canadian companies are present in India, and many more are going there. Okay. And more than hundreds of companies from India are present in Canada, including in the western part of Canada.
Yeah.
We also deal with the governments. Now, for example, the British Columbia governments who would like to engage in terms of business relationship with India,
right,
and several other provinces in India. So we facilitate. We don't do business, but we facilitate businesses between the two countries or between the states and the provinces here in Canada. That's one. The second one, of course, is dealing with all these issues of consular. We issue visas, we issue OCI card, we issue passports. If there are several, around more than half a million students here, their passports expire, they will renew them. So in a year, we delivered around 150,000 consular services in this consulate itself.
Busy place.
Busy place. That's one. The third one, of course, is also the cultural relationship. We tie up with we have several cultural programs going on throughout the year, one after another.
Right.
That also is facilitated by us. We call it a cultural diplomacy.
Yes.
Other one is business or commercial diplomacy, and taking care of the diaspora here in Canada.
Yeah.
Those are few things that we do, and ensure that our people here are heard when they have some difficulties. Many of people do not come into us, obviously, when they don't have any problem, but we deal with those only when they have problems. They come in and we ensure that the problems are resolved, and ensure that they are comfortable.
Well, you're doing a wonderful job being a good friend to the people. That's what it seems your role is, to make sure that everybody's just getting along smooth. So thank you for that, and also keeping them safe.
Yes,
so
true.
Thank you for what you're doing, and it's wonderful.
And keeping ourselves safe also.
Of course, absolutely, because we can't keep others safe unless we're safe first.
That's true.
So
that's true.
it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Just a short message as we celebrate 76th Republic Day of India, which is a celebration of the 75 years of our India as a republic. It's a happy moment for us, and would like to thank all Indian diaspora here for celebrating this with us, and being a very proud Indian, though you are settled down in Canada. We are all proud of you, and you are permanent ambassadors of India in this country. We come here and go after 3 years, but you stay back here, and you carry the goodwill of the people of India, and also you take back the goodwill of the Canadians to India. You are a bridge between these two countries. Continue to do so. We are very proud of you, and your contribution to the relation between the two beautiful countries, democratic countries, are invaluable to us. Thank you very much.
And thank you so much for talking to us today. You said that you leave after 3 years, but the impression that you make and the changes that you make here are forever lasting. So thank you for all of your help.
Hopefully, Sonia.
I'm sure. Thank you so much. And I'd like to say, namaste.
Namaste. Namaste. Namaste.